All right. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Needham, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's wait a few minutes for everybody to tune in here, and then we'll get started. We'll wait till around 8:35, and then we'll get right to it. Good morning. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. I know the market's gapping down a little bit here, so not ideal when you wake up looking at your positions and your accounts. However, it is what it is. Stay the course, and we'll address what's going on shortly. Sky, red morning. Indeed, my man, indeed. We closed at 434 on the SPY and currently sitting at 428. So pretty nice, pretty big gap down. I shouldn't say nice, but a pretty big gap down. Sakib, good morning. What's going on, my man? Scott, good morning. Buy the dips. As long as you know and understand the company that you're investing in, buying dips is great and ideal when it comes to your long-term investments. Correct. Wonderful Thursday. Come on, England. What's up, Ali? Good morning. Bullets Garage. Good morning. Good morning. Wade Smith. Good morning. What's going on? Gonna wait about 3 more minutes. Edgar, you kill me, bro. Good morning. Good morning. Day trader here. Nice. Got a few day traders. Nothing wrong with day trading. It has a bigger risk appetite, but nothing wrong with day trading. All right. Gonna stick around here till 8:35. Let everybody pour in here. Some people are sometimes late. But with that said, we'll wait around. So Rob, good morning, my man. All right. 2 more minutes and we'll get cracking. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm excited to get going again here. Let's see. Where is the rest of the class at? That's what I want to know. Some people are probably just not even bothering to wake up today because the market's a little red. So, if you guys are here, just like Sakib said, go ahead and smash that like button. YouTube likes it, enjoys it, and I still don't understand what it does, but it is what it is. Edgar, good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, about 30 seconds and we'll get going here. What would you suggest to buy today on a red day? You got to look at what you want to invest in on the long term, right? As far as short terms go, there's no real setup for a short term trade right now. But as far as long term goes, you can look at, companies that you've researched and you understand and you want to invest in them long term and you're okay with them coming down. So that really depends on what companies you like and what companies you researched. But a few that I enjoy, obviously, Baba is one of the most recent ones that I've started in the long term on, and we'll be looking to add on the pullbacks on Baba. All right, so it's 8:35. We're gonna get right to it. Don't want to waste too much more time here, and let's get into it, guys. So again, as we do every week, let's start off with the SPY. All right, you guys can see this chart, right? You guys are seeing the exact same chart I see, right? What happens when we pull away from the moving averages? We pull right back down. What happens when we pull away? We pull back down. We had an extended run here back in April, right? And then we pulled back down, right? What are we doing here? We're pulling up. When you get to these all-time high levels, the buying pressure and the breakout trades tend to not work as well. Okay, why? Because there isn't enough, optimism about the stock continuing to go higher, right? People and institutions and people have been trading for years understand that the SPY cannot simply just go up from the levels that we're at here. It can't just shoot up here, right? We can't get too super extended from these moving averages, right? So here we are yesterday, we pushed up, we had some buying pressure, but we knew at one point we were going to pull back, right? We always have to be prepared for that pullback. And that's why I always say, if you're investing in a long-term stock, if you're invested in a stock that you want to invest in for the long run, and long run, I'm talking like 2 to 3 years, only add when we get that pullback, because we will get that pullback, and we do get that pullback. We got it here, we got it here. We will continue to get these pullbacks. It's just the way the market cycles. The market moves in waves, right? So here we are yesterday, closing at 434, currently sitting at 428.60, which is right around here. Okay, so coming down to the 20 moving average, slightly here, slightly above it. Can we move down to the 50-day? Of course we can. We 100% can, right? Will it be a straight flush? Possibly not. We could bounce around before coming down to that, but let it come down. Don't fight it. It needs to come down. We need things to pull back to have a healthy market movement higher, right? I understand a lot of you guys are in growth names, tech names, whatever the case may be, but these names cannot continue to run without a healthy pullback. For every buyer, there needs to be a seller, and those sellers need to get exhausted for new buyers to come in, and the new buyers need to get exhausted for new sellers to come in, and it's just a cycle that happens. Okay, now that's as far as the SPY goes. Let's look at the Qs, and then we'll talk about the levels after. Okay, so here we are on the Qs. Obviously, we know that the tech sector has been slightly stronger in the last few weeks, right? You can figure that out simply by going to finviz.com, going to sectors and groups, and then checking the overall performance in the last month. You will see that tech has actually been doing very well in the last week, right? And we can straight move, right? We went on, I guess this is June, from the beginning of June straight to when? The beginning of July. We really started seeing that strength and growth in tech names come in, and look how extended we are from the moving averages, right? So this pullback, again, was noted. I've been talking about it. It's been, something that's been at the back of my head. We knew it was going to come. And, chasing tech names blindly at the top at all-time highs and simply saying, oh, it's going to go higher, it's a little bit concerning because of where we are in the Qs, right? So currently we closed at 360.95. We're gapping down about 5 points here at 355. We're sitting right around here, right? Can we come down to the 20 moving average? Again, same thing with the SPY. Yes, we can. Will it be a straight flush? I don't think it'll be a straight flush. However, we can see a few days of consolidation and then move down more, okay? So be aware of that. Understand, again, where we are as a whole. I've always said, zoom your charts out. Realize where we are. If we're super extended, be cautious on the long side. If we're overbought, look for, for oversold, look for positions in your long terms that you can start adding to. Always, always, always zoom out and understand where we are as a whole instead of being so zoomed in to, the 5 minute picture and realizing what's really going on. Okay. So again, zoom out and understand where we are as a whole. All right. So let's get back to the SPY and let's take a look at some of the levels we got. All right. So here we are with the SPY. Okay. Obviously, coming back to that 433, 434 yesterday, not holding, rejecting, falling, rolling over. And here we are at that 430 support, 428.24 support, right? If we hold this, right, we have to understand we've had a significant gap down from 434 to 428, right? So a lot of the people that were thinking like I was thinking and thinking the market's going to sell off, there's quite a bit of people who are actually probably short the market, right? So what can happen here? This 428.24 level can hold. We can get a short covering pop towards this 430.95, right? Maybe 431.90 area, and then we can roll over, okay? That's just a short covering pop that we might get, and we might run to this area before consolidating and rolling over, right? Second scenario here, if we fail to hold this 428, obviously we can come down to this 426.80, 426.40, which is pretty decent support, and then 425. Ultimately losing that brings you down to the 424.55 area, right? So again, this 428.24 level will be the level we got to watch and monitor right at the open to see where we're going, okay? Now with the Qs, let's take a look at the Qs. All right, Qs, same kind of scenario, right? A little bit slightly weaker here on the Qs. And that 355 level is the main level that we need to kind of monitor. It's currently acting as resistance right now, which is not something that I want to see. Ideally, I want it to stay above this 355.50 area so we can either pop back up to the 356 or 358, get some, nice momentum moves to the upside at the open, and then look for toppings and, rejections at these levels, and then possibly roll back over. If we fail to hold this 355 at the open, obviously opens us up for room down to 353 and then 352 area. And then you have some good support here at the 351s. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Always, always, always have your Qs and your SPY up when you're trading. You don't want to be trading blindly, because once either one of these pulls, depending on the stock that you're trading, it can affect the stock that you're trading. All right, so that's what we're looking at with regards to the SPY and the Qs. If you guys do have questions in regards to some of the stocks you want me to look at, anything that you want to ask, go ahead and message me on the YouTube here, and I'll be sure to answer every single one of you guys as I go through the list here. All right, so I'm going to go through the chat now. If you guys have questions, make sure you let me know, and I'll go through everything. How does everything take a dump together without any news? It's just the way the market sentiment is, right? We all know the market is ran by algorithms and institutional traders. So when things start pulling, institutions and algos start unloading positions in other names, thus, pulling everything down with it. So the market is very driven by computers and algo traders. And that's why when there are certain news headlines that come out, you'll see massive jumps and pulls in certain names. That's simply because the computers are picking up on certain keywords and buying and selling and whatnot. So the market's very driven by algos and computers. So when the entire market's coming down, these computer positions start unloading as well in the other sectors and tickers. Momo thoughts, please. So Momo was something that I had on watch yesterday for a short at the break of the 1440 level. And the reason for this was it lost a pretty key level on the daily here. Almost, you guys can tell we had a double top formation here, right? We had this wedge we popped out of, tested it, came back up, failed to make a new high, double topped here. We had this, it's a W formation. It's an inverse W formation, essentially. That neckline break was the 1440, and now it's coming down, has room to that 1350 and currently sitting at the 1380 level, right? 1360 is the level that it can come down to, and then ultimately right here at around 1320, $13 will probably be an area that you guys want to consider. I don't know what your game plan is on Momo, but it is something that I was watching on the short side for the break of the 1440 here. SOS. This name, man, just never got going again. After this big pop in January, February, sucked in all the bag holders. People bought at these dips here, failed to make a new high. You have people buying dips again, failing to make a new high. This thing is just struggling, right? And this is why I always tell you guys, don't turn any stock into a long-term hold, right? This is a piece of shit company, believe it or not. Their balance sheet sucks. There's really nothing in here that says hold me long term, right? If you're holding this, you're literally just holding for a prey, for a pop back to, an area where you can get out for some profits. To start a long-term position on this, I don't think so. Not something I would do. Short term, I don't like it at all. Not something I would trade. But I mean, if it loses this 277 area, you can very easily start selling back down to the $2.50, $2 area. Not something I would touch. Neo Tesla numbers. What do you mean Neo Tesla numbers? Would you trade Overstock coming into support? Overstock, I guess you mean OSTK. Again, it's I don't see a short-term pattern in it, so I'm not sure what your outlook is on OSTK. I don't see a short-term pattern on it. Yes, it has some support here at 84.50. It's currently sitting at 86.68. Probably one of the fewer names that's hasn't really sold off much, I guess, during this market pullback here. So if it's something you want to invest in long term, you can start a position here. In the short term, I don't see much in it, to be honest with you. It just seems like it's stuck in a channel, and just very choppy for me to even consider getting into a trade on the shorter side, on the short term. So if you're in it if you want to start in it for the long term, you can start at these 86 levels, possibly look to add around the 80, and obviously last adds around 73. See if it can hold these levels and get it tracking back to that 100 area. GRWG for long term, levels to add. All right, so GRWG, nice run to that 52 resistance line that I had drawn here. Had this nice falling wedge, popped out of it, popped up to 52, and it's due for a pullback now, right? Like every other name that we've been watching, we came down, we hit that 200 moving average, something I've talked about plenty of times. We bounced off of it, pushed up to the 52. An area to add, possibly maybe at around the 44, 60, 43 area is an area you can add. Maybe add smaller size just in case we do pull back to that 200 moving average again, and you can add around the 40. All right, so 43, 17, 40, 44 area would probably be an area you can add, and then your next add would have to be at around the $40 area, and this pivot down here and give yourself a nice average. Not sure what your average is now, but always a good thing adding on red days, then chasing the top and adding at the highs, obviously. All right, RFL. Let's take a look at RFL. So Raphael Holdings. Not too sure about what these guys do or what they're about, but we had this resistance area at 53, clear resistance area, again, resistance area. Once we broke that, we got some push here. Not something I would chase on the long side here. Needs consolidation, needs some sort of pattern to form before you take a breakout. Super extended from the moving averages. Possibly a retest of the 53. You can look to maybe start a position on it. However, chasing this on the long side here is a little bit risky. General Motors and Ford. So Obviously, both in the same sector, so not something you want to buy together. Either choose one or the other, do your research. But I've been in General Motors since 50 something. And I'll probably add to this around the 54 area. If you want to add, if you're looking to start a position, you can probably add here at the 54. And simply because we have pretty decent support right here at the 54.30 level. And then obviously you never want to go full size when you're investing in long-term positions. If we do lose that 54, we do have a possibility of coming down to that 50 whole number as well. Another area that you can add. Same thing with Ford. Ford, if you want to start a position here, maybe at around this 1375 area, 1350. But again, take a look at, where we've been and where we are as a whole on Ford. I think Ford has had a significantly stronger run than GM has. But possibly that 1350, 1340 area is an area that you can start. APPS. APPS, obviously a chart that I've watched a lot. I look at a lot. As you can see, do all the things that I've written on here. Crazy. This was a very nice 3-bar play on the short side that happened yesterday. Missed it. Has room to come down to that 61 level, 61.50. Currently sitting at, I believe, 61.75, 61.80. But again, something that you could start a position on at 61.50 if you're looking to start, with room to add if it does get down too low to the 55, and lastly at the 48 level, right? You always have to be prepared for this. I give these levels even lower past the 200 moving average because nothing is set in stone. You don't want to load the boat saying it's 200 moving average, it's going to hold, it's concrete, it's set in stone. Mr. Investor said 200 moving average is the place you have to buy. I'm going to pull out a mortgage and put all my money in it. No. So there's always something that can happen. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is just a guide. Everything is just based on probabilities. So you could start at 61.50, possibility add down to the 55, and lastly at the 48, 49 level. But again, good company, has had great earning reports, the ones that I've looked at, and not really sure what these big sell days are. Maybe take a look at what caused these big sell days. But again, long term, you're not really worried about the micro aspects of what's really going on. IDEX long. IDEX. Lots of selling here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of selling. Coming into that 200 moving average here. I would really keep an eye on this, sitting at 230 now. So we're sitting down here in the pre-market around 235, 236. So under the 200 moving average, the 220 is a nice support. You can try it here at a support buy. See if you get a bounce back up to that 3 in the short term. That's the only thing I would do with it. There isn't much of a pattern in it other than you're simply just doing a support buy. We have support confirmed here and here, and this 222 area would be a nice support dip buy. You can try to get into it here and try to sell at the pop back up towards the 250 or the $3 area. In the long term, I don't know much about the company. Under $10, not something I would swing or hold long term as far as the company aspect goes. Again, I don't know much about their financials. Should I get out of SOS? Losing 34% now. So, I hate answering questions like this. Should I get out of SOS? I'm down 50%. I'm down 30%. At this point, you just gotta suck it up, right? You were okay with losing 30%, and you're still holding. So it's hard to say because you bought the top. Now you're selling into the support area, and as soon as you sell, it's gonna pop, and you're gonna hit yourself in the head, right? It's a hard decision for me to even address. I hate addressing these kind of situations. Hey, Ali, I bought at 77. The stock is now at $30. I don't know what to do. Do I sell? I'm down 50%. Well, why didn't you sell at 10%? Why didn't you sell at 15%? Why didn't you sell at 18%? Why didn't you sell at 20%? Why didn't you sell at 25%? What made you hold the stock to the point where you're down 35, 50%, right? I'm not saying this to, navigate you in a direction where you should sell. I'm saying you need to understand that there's two options here. If you sell, it could pop because it's at support. And if you do hold, there's a possibility that it might go down. You pretty much screwed yourself by not selling, respecting any patterns, any rules in your trading, and holding at a 30% loss now. So if you have the option of averaging down, hopefully maybe getting a pop, you could try that as well as another method. But the decision of cutting your losses at 34% is pretty tough, and you got to kind of make that on your own. NIO and Tesla, support and resistance. So I'll address NIO here. Obviously, NIO 46 was an area of support. We are well under that now, so we're looking at the area of around 43, 41.20 next. Possible areas of add if you're in it for the long term. These are good areas. Lots of congestion here, which will give us some nice support as far as buying and selling goes. These are your support lines, obviously. Resistance lines, you're looking at around the 50.97, 50.79, and 55.45. Look how we came and tapped that, right? It's just, it is what it is. There's support and resistance levels for a reason, and that's that. As far as Tesla goes, 690.27 was an area of resistance that I had drawn. We came to it, we literally hit it like the ceiling. And every time we popped over, we rejected. Now coming back down to that breakout level of 635, now currently sitting at 627. Puts it in a tough position right now because it could very easily lose that and roll over back to the 600 area or even the 570. But again, not something I would trade on the short term. Looking to possibly add. My average on this on my long term is around 630 if I'm not mistaken. Looking to add closer to the 550 area if we do get there. If not, possibly add around the 600. GM I talked about. We can talk about BYND. Same similar thing. Lots of things hitting that resistance and selling off, right? We had that nice flag on top of the 200 moving average. We hit that resistance, and actually one of our targets here on the swing trades, 157 area, failed to get to that 162, rolled over, now sitting at that 137 support, and that's exactly where it is right now in the pre-market. So this level kind of needs to hold. If not, gonna roll back over and fall to this 113 area because there's a big massive move downside here, and there was a big massive move to the upside, so it puts it in a little hollow space that it can sell off to. All right, guys, if you guys are still here, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, and we'll take a couple of more tickers here, and then I got to get back to the room. But I appreciate every single one of you guys as always. For a swing trade, NNDM, good time to add now. I think our add at NNDM was 650. Currently sitting at 675. To be honest, I don't see much support here in it until back down to the 6 area. So I would probably hold off a little bit and add towards the 6, right? So we have an average of 650. If we add towards 6, we get it closer to that $6 level. So that's an area that I will be looking to add on NNDM. I don't trade crude oil and stuff like that. I hate trading ETFs. JD. So similar name to Baba, under the 200 moving average. These Chinese names are just getting murked. They're getting jerked around for whatever reason. Anyways, it is what it is. It's the way the media is portraying some of these companies. So they're just getting beat right now. Currently sitting at 70.12, which is right around here. Lost that support of 70.45 here. Just sitting right on that. If it loses the 70.45, your add on this for the long term would probably be around 65.90 as a starter position. Okay, Nothing I would trade in the short term. Too much heat in the Chinese names right now to be swinging anything right now in the Chinese names. Clove entry point. Not sure what you like about Clove, why you would trade Clove other than it was pumped by WSB. There's a short squeeze. I just don't like this company. Every time it's done something, it's created bag holders. It popped towards the 17 area, created bag holders. It popped to 30, it's creating bag holders. I don't like this stock. I don't like this ticker. I don't like anything in regards to this. It kills retail traders, and it's not something I want to invest in, and it's not something I will invest in. However, if you do find value in the company and the financials and you understand what they do, you could start positions at around $9, possibly add towards a 635. All right, guys. So, and anyone that's trading Wish, good luck to you guys. I hope you guys understand what trading is and how to trade. Because that thing is just, it's like AHD, right? Look at AHD. Everyone on social media pumped it. Everybody on social media got in on it. Look at where it is now, right? You guys want to play with fire, you can continue playing with fire, right? Here we are, 1030, right? If this rolls over and loses 938, this is going straight back to 760. Not saying these things don't run. They're being manipulated and they're being pumped. If you're into that type of business, and if you're into pumping and dumping and watching these people, you know, your only lifeline is the fact that somebody with 500,000 followers is going to tweet and pump something for you guys in order for you to make money, then you can do that. But I myself trade stocks with patterns. I trade good companies. I'm not interested in things like this. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. Be careful out there. Market is slightly red. Understand your levels and trade your levels as best as you can. And respect your stops at all times. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Appreciate every single one of you guys, and have yourselves a wonderful day. And we'll catch you next Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time.